Hey guys, Yellow 13 Ace here. It's been a while. Today I have the CFA-44 Nosferatu, and it's a custom edition that I made for a friend who also happened to be my roommate for 2 years. And so a couple months ago I made a video about the Yellow Squadron SU-37 144 scale model that I got from him, and this is like my way of repaying him and saying thanks for his gesture. And so this is a custom edition. This is going to be going to him after I make this video. Alright, so let's talk about design. The Nosferatu is a pretty unique design. In Ace Combat 6, it was presented as a carrier-based stealth multi-role with an interesting special weapon options. One of the options was an EML, which was magnetic launcher, which is essentially a one-shot kill kind of weapon, and the other one is a 80 mm. That's the design in the game, and so there would actually be these missile ports here that would open up on top and then launch these weapons out. But I didn't make that into this version. So overall, it's a Delta Canard design. Its nickname is Fan Dance in the Assault Horizon universe, apparently, because it looks like a fan. So there's that. It looks, overall, it just looks like a fast plane. It's kind of stocky, but it's also sleek at the same time. And I'll show you guys some pictures after this video showcasing how beautiful this is. So because it has stealth, a lot of its features are angular, right? So you have the canards here that are parallel to the leading edge of the main wing, and also this edge right here on the canard is parallel with the wingtip here. And so like pretty much everything is parallel to something, and it's always constrained. The only parts that are not really parallel are the vertical stabilizers, which are not exactly parallel going up, and also the intakes, which are pretty unique. They are pentagonal, and I will talk about those coming up. So it's stealth, has unique geometry. So I've made two versions of this plane before, and in the very first version is way back in my YXO1 video. It was a flat, version of everything. So like the wing was like folded sheet of paper. I mean, this is also folded, but inside the wing there's a spar. I don't know if you can see it here. There is a spar inside the wing. It's like what my other planes are like now. So like my F-35, for example, I also put a wing spar inside the main wing. And so the very first version didn't have that at all, and it flew quite alright. And then I made a second version that was basically this, but it was with white paper, and it didn't have intakes, and there wasn't really a canopy / nose structure to it. And so this is the latest iteration of the Nosferatu that I've made for David. So yeah, so I, since it's a custom edition, I needed to take a step further, make it something extra special. And so what I did was I decided to pursue some of the more complicated aspects of the design. Most notably the Sukhoi inspired arch, like this profile right here. Decided to model that, and also the dual pentagonal intakes on the bottom. I think these are a very characteristic feature of the Nosferatu, so I decided to make that. So in this version, I did not decide to incorporate the dual weapons bays on the top, because that actually was the downfall of my very first prototype of the Nosferatu. I cut a hole in the wing and it just didn't work. I mean, go figure, right? So yeah, so I decided not to do that because it was too mechanically complex and there were reliability issues. So I decided to leave that out of this version at least. Maybe, you know, in the future, if I learn how to manufacture using 3D printing or something like that, I can make like a mechanism for that. But for now, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna tackle that problem. I haven't completely given up on the idea, but it's with what I know right now, it's not feasible. So overall, I guess it just had to look nice. That was the main goal of this plane. It's a present, I guess, for my friend David, and I think I did an okay job. To make it look nice, I also used the same gray 176 grand per square meter cardstock material that I used for the F-35 that I also made. And the reason I did this was that gray blends better with tape. So if you use like black cardstock, the tape pieces are gonna stand out a lot, and it'll look kind of weird and ugly. So also, you know, gray is a nice matte color, and it's a neutral color, so it always works. And I feel like it just looks more refined than just pure matte black. So that was my reasoning behind the material selection for this design. And so these two things really became the main selling points for this particular model is basically a more detailed structural design with the spine and the intake, and also the new material, and just overall attention to detail. I mean, like in my last video, in my F-35 video, I showed you the rear, the engine nozzle area, and it was poorly finished. And this is a much better finish. It's still not quite perfect. The engine nozzles are a little bit thick, too thick. Yeah, like I put a lot of effort into making it look nice, especially, for example, right here. This is the radar boom at the end of the aircraft, and I was able to mold this entire spine piece and combine it with that radar boom. And so actually inside is a straw structure to hold it up. So it's kind of wrapped around, and it's kind of, you know, it blends in seamlessly, and it's a nice integration in the back portion of the aircraft. But yeah, structural design and gray material. So now let's actually talk about the different parts of the plane. For the wings, I first drew out the plan form of the Nosferatu, and then using the top views available on Google Images, you can find it online, you know, double layered it and then folded it over a wing spar and everything. And of course, you know, through all these steps, I'm just glossing it over here, but all these steps are done with extreme precision, and it takes me actually a long time just to get the wing geometry down, and also the tail surfaces and everything. It just takes a long time. Like it seems like a trivial step, like when you copy things down, when you sketch the outline, but it actually takes a lot of time if you want to do it right. And so I did that with this model. It's a unibody structure. So once I folded the wings and put the spar in between, I mounted the main wing set onto a regular paper airplane, like a 8.5 by 11 sheet, you know, folded like this, and then, you know, dart shape. So I put the main wings on top of that, and yeah, that basically forms the unibody structure. The wing is one piece, and it's attached to the fuselage. And so the wings are double layered cardstock, so it's very durable, and it'll actually, I mean, it's lasted a couple months until now. I haven't been able to make the video until now, so it's quite amazing. It's held up very nicely. It's aged very nicely. The main wings also have airfoils. It's a generic airfoil shape. It's not a specific shape, but it offers better structural integrity, and also, I guess if you want to fly this model, it produces more lift because it has more, you know, more camber and everything. So it's pretty sturdy. You can drop it and it'll be fine. Yep, drop test. Anyways, let's talk about the fuselage now. So the body of this model uses the same construction techniques as most of my previous designs. I use printer paper. Actually, you can see it here. I use printer paper to make that dart shape fuselage base, and then I use kind of cardstock. I install the wings, and then a straw is actually placed down the middle, down the axis of the plane, and then all these fuselage panels are molded on top of that and tightly bound to the wing. I mean, like, it's kind of coming off right here, like the tape parts, but yeah, I try my best to get that to be as compact as possible and as tight as possible. Nothing is left to chance. Everything is kind of just crafted with intention. You know, I wanted to make this extra special, right? So I decided to model the spine of the plane, and that was also, so that required another straw internally inside here, and I kind of just molded the cardstock paper over that. It is some pretty delicate and gentle curves, and all of these curved surfaces are kind of just molded paper, and paper likes to stay two-dimensional and flat. So it's kind of, you're fighting against the nature of the material, which is a struggle that I was dealing with when making these. So yeah, that's pretty much the fuselage. And so another defining feature that I focused on in this design were the intakes. And so this is where the most research and development went into play. The intakes were the most challenging part by far of this design, both in its conception and its manufacturing. It's worth it that I did this, but it was just so, it took so long to get these right, and it was pretty much a matter of trial and error when I made this. So initially I sat down, I drew on a piece of paper what I envisioned the intake to look like. I drew the pentagon shape, and I kind of just, I don't know how to explain this, but I laid it out flat on the table. And so I imagined what it would be like to just have an extrusion of that pentagon, but then you open it up and it's going to be several flat pieces, flat panels. And so I thought about that and came up with something on a piece of printer paper first, and I cut it out, folded it, and then made sure it fit together all nice and tight. And once I wanted the shape, I got to the shape that I wanted, I cut it out and refined it a little bit, and then laid it out on a piece of cardstock. And once I did that, I could make the actual piece out of cardstock and actually make it. It's a lot of intuition and faith in myself. It's not like, I did not use any CAD software or engineering software for that matter. And I guess the only way to really do this is just to study a lot of math and art, I guess. I mean, and just look at everyday objects. For this case, for this example, I looked at a lot of shipping boxes, when you get Amazon boxes or whatever, when you order things online, and how they package everything together. A lot of thought went into the packaging, and so you can actually learn a lot from everyday things like that. And that's pretty much where I got my inspiration for this from. So this triangular panel here is a result of, so if you look at the rear here, it's actually 4 or 6 panels because there's a little panel here, but basically 4 panels. And so once you cut those out, you want to combine one of the panels with the other, and then you just in your mind and using your previous I guess visual vocabulary, you just look at it and think, oh, I can do this, I can apply this quirky geometry from this packaging design or whatever, and then you can obtain a final result like this. Of course, you can also just do it by force, kind of like brute force, like figuring out the geometry and then laying it out on paper. But I find that I use my intuition a lot when it comes to these things, and it works out pretty well. I did not use any CAD software, like I said before, Google SketchUp, or because I think there's a feature in Google SketchUp where you can draw the 3D model it, and then there's this feature where you can lay it down flat. and unfold all the faces. I didn't use that, although I could have. And so, anyways, it was just a lot of intuition to get this part down. There's really no like kind of a formulaic way to get it. You just kind of look at it and go, hey, that's probably how it should be, and it turned out nice for me, at least. And so yeah, this is the final result of all of that kind of research and prototyping. And so this is the final design. I think it looks pretty sleek, pretty nice. So I guess I'll talk about performance and give you guys a conclusion for this video. This isn't really a model meant for flight. It's really meant to be more of a desktop display model. Plus, it's a gift for a friend, so I really don't think they want to damage it by flying it. But, I did fly it a couple times under controlled environments, like into a pillow and into a sofa or something. And it was pretty stable on all axes. It felt pretty draggy. Like, these intakes cause a ton of drag, and also just the overall delta planform causes a lot of drag. And it glides nice otherwise, and I think this would be successful as a flyer without the intakes. Like, maybe in the next version I'll take out the intakes and then like form the fuselage nicely, like this curved panel right here, nicely along the entire length of the fuselage, and then it can be a flight worthy version of this. So it's not really meant for flight, but it does fly if you make it fly. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. It is pretty similar after all to a standard Dart paper airplane, so I'm not surprised that it flies okay. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you want, you can go ahead and like this video, comment, subscribe. Also, you should probably turn on post notifications, because I know all of you want to comment first on this video. But I get it, seriously, I don't upload very often, so when I do upload, I have a feeling that my video most of the time just slips through everyone's feeds, and a lot of people miss out on I don't know, I think what is great content. But anyways, that's totally up to you if you want to turn on post notifications. If you didn't like this video, dislike twice, comment anyway to hurt my feelings, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for this video. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Until next time, UNT Y13A.